House committee is voting this week to hold the Attorney General in contempt as anticipation over public testimony, possibly from the special counsel himself, is growing by the minute. Let's bring in senior advisor to President Trump's 2020 campaign, Lara Trump. Great to have you with us tonight.
Hi, Shannon. Great to be with you.
Okay, I want to play something today while all of these things are playing out on the Hill from Senator John Kennedy, who says, listen, it's time to get serious. Here's his take.
I think that both sides in this are doubling down on stupid. I think that both sides need to sit down and negotiate what the administration can provide and what the House actually needs. This is a dangerous game that's being played.
So, Lara, where do we go from here? The president had said previously he was okay with whoever wanted to testify. Now, tweeting over the weekend, he didn't think it was a good idea for the special counsel to show up.
Well, I agree with the assessment there. It seems like they're doubling down on stupid here. I don't know what's going on. Listen, this is just more of the same when you look at what's going on with the Democrats. No matter who comes out and says something positive about this president, they are going to get attacked and they're going to get inundated by the Democrats. And here is just another example of that. It's Trump derangement syndrome. No matter what, you look at William Barr. This is a man who, up until he became the Attorney General for President Donald Trump, was incredibly well respected by both Republicans and Democrats alike. It's funny that now that he came out and stated the facts that we all saw in the Mueller report, which is that there was no collusion with Russia when it came to the president or our campaign, now all of a sudden he is the target of the Democrats because they're obsessed with finding anything they can to try and smear this president and anyone who is on his side. And now they're doing it to this great man whose reputation precedes him for many, many years.
And what do you make today? One of the people obviously caught up in the Mueller investigation and the things that spun off from that is the president's former personal attorney, Michael Cohen. Something he had to say on his way to report to jail today.
There still remains much to be told, and I look forward to the day that I can share the truth.
I mean, Laura, that's after he had some pretty negative things to say about the president. Is there any fear about what the rest of the story is, according to Michael Cohen?
Oh, we don't worry much about Michael Cohen. I mean, this is a self-confessed perjurer. He's perjured himself many times and on live television, no less. And he has shown the world what he has to offer. And it's just a whole lot of nonsense. He's going to prison now for nothing that has to do with this president, with the president's administration, with the Trump organization, with the Trump campaign. These are all things that Michael Cohen did on his own. We don't worry about anything he has to say. I'm sure he's probably looking for a book deal down the line, but we'll worry about him later.
Well, and I know that you're looking ahead to 2020, already actively working on the campaign. I want to read something from Vox.com under the headline, Trump and Putin talked about the Mueller report, but not Russian meddling in 2020. It says Trump didn't confront Putin directly about Russian meddling in upcoming U.S. elections. In refusing to openly address this threat, Trump raises an alarming concern. He's avoiding the question of how he'd effectively be able to prevent it from happening again. I mean, your response to the criticism that the president needs to be tougher with a Russian adversary that people across partisan lines agree really want to create chaos and divide here and have actively tried to disrupt our elections.
Well, this president has actually been incredibly tough with Russia. It was our former President Obama who said that he was going to have a lot more leeway once the election was over. We remember him saying that. And he knew, Obama, way back when, that Russia was meddling in our elections. And guess what? He did nothing about it. I think this president is very serious about preventing voter fraud, about anything that would disrupt a U.S. election. Just because he didn't talk to Vladimir Putin about it does not mean that Donald Trump doesn't care about this, and this is not something he's taking very seriously. I'm sure he is.
I want to give you a chance, too, to respond to criticism today. This is out of the Baltimore Sun. The president had a beautiful ceremony tonight, the highest civilian honor awarded to Tiger Woods. There's been some controversy about that, about whether he should have or not. Now, this side of the controversy is folks who didn't think Tiger Woods should have shown up. The Baltimore Sun says this, we wish Mr. Woods would have taken a stand against hatred and declined the award given the racial and ethnic rift Mr. Trump has widened and exploited in the country since taking office. Mr. Woods has made his choice, and part of his legacy will be embracing a man who incited bigotry and racism. I mean, they said, noted that Tiger has golfed with the president, and they didn't think he should be doing that either. What do you say?
You know what? Tiger Woods has known Donald Trump for many years, well before he became the president. And he knows the true Donald Trump, not the one that the mainstream media tries to post up all the time, all the nonsense you see. This is a man who has never been a racist. They continue to try and beat this drum about a racist narrative. Tiger Woods, well, I mean, he deserves this more than anyone. I'm so happy the president decided to give him this honor. And what a shame that people are trying to take away such a great moment for him, for his family. I thought it was a beautiful ceremony. Tiger Woods is the epitome of what people should try to be like in this country. He had a downward spiral. Things were looking a little bad for him. He came back not only on the golf course, but in life. And that's something that as Americans we should champion and hold high. And kudos to the president for giving him this honor. It's just a shame that anyone would try and take this moment away from him. I think he deserves it, and I think all of America knows he deserves it.
Well, this country is unique in many ways, but certainly cheering for the underdog and giving all of us second and third and fourth chances when we need them. For that, we can be grateful. Lara Trump, thank you for joining us tonight. Good to see you.
Thank you.